everyone. Welcome to the Leader Lab. This is Leadership Shorts. Quick thoughts on how to level up your leadership. My name is Chad Wright, founder of Forward Partners. I am here with Emily Grace Deal, our Chief Storytime Officer. And today, we're going to talk a little bit about you.
Sure.
I'm so excited about this because the topic that we kind of wanted to wrestle with is the fact that we say yes way too much. And how can we start to prioritize and understand that no is probably a more important answer for a lot of reasons?
Yeah, I think that the journey that I've been on, and we're going to bring up Enneagram. Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding.
So I'm a 2, and
Okay.
for those who
The
know what that
helper.
means, the helper. And I think a big part of kind of what I've been learning as I've been kind of exploring my personality and how that works, and is just being able to set boundaries and say no, and that being okay with when you say no, that person is they're okay with it or they're not, and accepting that.
You can't control that.
Right. And not necessarily just saying yes to everything to help everyone.
Yeah.
Because in reality, you're not actually helping everyone.
Because this is really not just an Emily problem.
Right.
This is a Chad problem. This is a human
This is
problem.
everyone problem.
Yeah. We're real bad. There's, I think, a people-pleasing side to most of us, or even an ego side that says, I got this, that we feel the need to say yes to everything.
Yeah.
And, last time we talked about sprinting versus running a marathon, right? And part of letting go of the sprint is to start to say no.
Yeah, knowing that, you can actually do more if you say no.
Yeah.
Because you're able to do the things that mean the most and that are going to help you get, live your purpose and have the impact you want to have and do what you want to do. And sometimes you can say yes and it's not necessarily, 100% purpose, 100% end goal.
Yep.
But you want to do it and you have the capacity to do it, and you have you've made that conscious choice, the intentional choice to be yes, this is okay to do this. And you have the ability, to do it well and not just say yes to everything and 10% everything. And you can really do better.
Let me ask you this. Have you seen that historically in your life where you would look up and realize you were 10%ing everything?
Yeah.
I've said yes to too much.
Yeah. And I have that perfectionism is in me for sure.
Yeah.
I got that. And so realizing that I'm not actually helping people as much as I could, or that I'm not doing everything to the best of my ability.
Yep.
When I was oh yeah, that's because I said yes to all this stuff when I really didn't have the ability to do all of the things.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about, I'm a big framework guy. Framework is one of my favorite words. So if I'm a person and someone is bringing a bunch of stuff to me, how do I determine if I say yes or no? And you and I had kind of brainstormed some questions to ask. And so one of the things you had mentioned was, do I have the capacity for this? And I think that's a big one, is really honestly judging, do I have the capacity to take this on? And part of that is realizing if the answer is no, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's not weakness to not have the capacity to put the world on our shoulders, right?
Right. And I think that's that whole piece that I had to wrestle with forever, that it's okay, and the people who are meant to be there will stay.
Yeah.
Not just because they're not going to leave because you said no.
Yes.
And sometimes they will, and that's okay.
Yeah. If they were like, hey, you won't burn yourself out for me, I'm out. Okay. That's really healthy. That's actually not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing people wrestle with so much, is that, do I have the capacity? And they feel the need to pretend they do. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that in all our presentations, we have Boulder Guy.
Right.
So y'all can't see Boulder Guy right now, but it's an image of a person pushing a boulder up a hill.
Yeah, kind of iconic. I'm achieving everything today.
I'm productive. I'm shoving this boulder up a hill. But we really zero in on the fact that realistically, we're not pushing anything up a hill. We're just doing everything we can to keep it from rolling back over and crushing us. And so we have to really understand that boulder is made up of so many unintentional yeses. It was just yes, 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 yes. And it starts to build and get heavier and heavier. And we start to get more and more tired, and the weight gets greater, and that's where burnout really happens.
Yeah, who are you actually helping now?
Yes.
What are you actually getting done?
Yeah. Don't you love it when I hit my mic? Danny's cringing right now. Sorry, Danny. I think that's one of those things that it's do I have the capacity to actually do this well? What was some of the other questions that we brainstormed here? Am I the best person for this?
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting one.
Yeah.
You mean we don't have to be the hero for everyone? Like, we love strapping on a cape.
I might not actually be the best person for this job, or I might not actually have the best skill set. But, maybe you know someone that is.
Yeah, yeah. This is, I think, an example of this. So I get invited sometimes to be on boards and stuff like that, and I say no 100% of the time because I know I don't have the capacity for it, and I'm not the right person. Now, I can bring value to them. I can bring strategic thinking and leadership thought, which is helpful, but they also need a person who can do that, plus fundraise and be at events and do those. I know I'm not that person, and I don't have that capacity. So the answer is no. And
and I think an important part of this that so podcasting, right?
Let's talk about podcasting.
When you first brought the idea to me to podcast and host this with you, it was kind of like, no, I'm not the person for that.
That was an easy no for you.
Yeah, it was an easy one. Well, you've made a good environment to be able to say no, Chad. But in reality, sometimes you can say yes to things that are a little scary because that's where you grow, right? So sometimes it's really evaluating that, and sometimes it's the opposite way too. I mean, we need to know that no should be our first, right? Our go-to.
That's probably your default for most things is no, right? But there is a you do need a pause to think about it, right?
Yeah, because I definitely had to.
Because your no wasn't based on, do I have the capacity? Like, you do have the capacity, right? We've got enough hours in the day to pull this off. It was more based on, am I the right person?
Yeah.
But the interesting part about that is you kind of hold that with an open hand and go, well, am I? Because I believe you are.
Well, and these are the conversations that we have normally.
Yeah.
And so it was at the point where we were like, yeah, I think that's something we could do.
And our listeners agree. Like, they're still here
they're
after
still
this
listening.
many episodes of Insanity.
Hey,
they
Mom.
agree you are. Hey, Mom. Hey, moms, thanks for downloading. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for telling all your friends. No, I think this is a good example of really thinking through stuff. And I think that's what we need to do. Ultimately, it is having a framework, but it is pausing long enough to go, am I intentionally going to say yes or no?
Right.
And what are my reasons behind it? Is my yes or no fear-driven? Is it ego-driven? And really making sure that intentionality is coming from a place of health, of I have the capacity. I am the best person.
Not a knee-jerk yes or no.
Yes, exactly. It's not just people-pleasing. It is, I am doing this for a reason. Again, we go back to a few episodes ago, we talked about intentionality and direction. It is, I see the direction I want to go. This is in that direction.
Right. This
So
will
I'm
take
gonna
me
go.
there.
Yeah. And if it's not, the answer is no. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
I love this. So say yes, say no, but be intentional either way. Slow down, be intentional. If anyone wants to send us emails, A, to tell us how incredible you are at this, or B, to send us questions or feedback or anything else, where do they send that to?
They can send it to lab@forwardpartners.net.
lab@forwardpartners.net. And I would encourage y'all to do that. We love answering questions.
We do.
If you guys send questions, then you don't have to hear my random thoughts. Let's send some questions, okay? If anybody wants to follow us on socials, where do they do that?
@forwardpartner.
@forwardpartner. Thank you, as always, for doing this. Danny Isom, thank you for producing. He's got magic production. I almost said fingers. He's got magic
Chad.
production skills.
Thank you, Chad.
Is everybody telling me to shut up? Thank you to Wilco Workspaces for partnering with us. Thank y'all for watching, for listening, for sharing this with your friends. It means the world to us. It genuinely, genuinely does. We will see you next time in the Leader Lab for Leadership Shorts.